If you are new to investing, I highly encourage you to consider Dividend Kings. Dividend Kings are a rare breed of companies that have raised their dividend for 50 or more consecutive years. They are outstanding businesses that have survived everything from economic recessions to major technological advancements. In this video, I'm going to cover my 10 favorite Dividend Kings for brand new investors. I'm going to show you a back test of a portfolio investing in these 10 companies, and then what future dividend income growth projections look like based on how they've grown their dividend in the past. All right, so let's get to it. We're going to cover these 10 stocks, these 10 Dividend Kings, from lowest dividend yield to highest dividend yield. I'm going to tell you a reason why I like each one of them. Number one, Parker Hannifin. The current stock price is $3.12. It looks reasonably valued when you look at it. Its dividend yield, the current dividend yield is 2% below its 5-year average, and it's yielding 1.7%. The PE ratio is 15.5, which is in line with its 5-year average. And then it gets a dividend safety rating of 94 with 29% dividend growth in April of 2022. That's how much they increased their dividend by. And then 11% 5-year dividend growth and 12% 20-year dividend growth. They have grown the dividend for 66 straight years, and they have a 26% payout ratio, which is very low for most companies. All right, moving on to number two, American States Water. The ticker is AWR. Price is $92 a share. The dividend is currently 3% above its 5-year average, and so the yield is 1.72%. It does have a bit of a higher PE ratio, a PE ratio of 33.8, which is in line with its 5-year average. And it as well has a 98 dividend safety rating. It's grown the dividend by 8.9% in the last year, 9% in the last 5 years, and 6% over the last 20 years per year. 68 straight years of dividend growth and a 60% payout ratio, which is low for water utility companies. Okay, number three, Abbott Laboratories. Current share price is $105 a share. The dividend yield is 21% above its 5-year average. Remember, as the dividend yield is higher above its average, it means the share price is generally lower. And so that's why they look at dividend yield being above its 5-year average as potentially meaning it's undervalued. Pays a dividend yield of 1.94%. The current PE ratio is 23.8, which is in line with the 5-year average. Its dividend safety rating is still safe, but down to a 71 compared to in the 90s for some of these other ones. 8.5% dividend growth in the last year, 12% on average over the last 5 years, 4% over the last 20 years, and 51 straight years of dividend growth with a low 36% payout ratio. All right, Lowe's. Full disclosure, I own this in my own portfolio. $198 a share. Looks like it's undervalued. Its dividend yield is 16% above its 5-year average, 2.12% dividend yield, a 14.4 PE ratio. I personally love that, which is below its 5-year average, a 93 dividend safety rating, 31% dividend growth last year, 20% on average over the last 5 years, 25% over the last 25 years. That's crazy. And they've paid a dividend, a 62-year dividend growth streak, 29% payout ratio, which is low for most companies. Illinois Tool Works, $227 a share. Its dividend is 3% below its 5-year average, a 2.3% dividend yield, 23.7 PE ratio, which is a little bit high, but it's in line with its 5-year average, 81 safety rating, 7.4% dividend growth in the last year, 12% on average over the last 5 years, 13% over the last 20 years, and then 51 straight years of dividend growth. Emerson Electric, $83 a share. It looks reasonably valued. The dividend is 4% below its 5-year average, 2.5% dividend yield, 19.7 PE ratio, which is in line with its 5-year average, a 78 dividend safety rating. And then their dividend growth is actually a lot slower, only 1% in the last year and over the last 5 years, with a 5% 20-year dividend growth rate and 65% or 65 years of dividend growth, a 41% payout ratio. All right, Target. Target has been crushed lately. $165 a share. The dividend yield is 8% above its 5-year average, 2.61% dividend yield, a 19.4 payout ratio, which is a little bit above, or I'm sorry, PE ratio, which is a little bit above its 5-year average, but that's because their earnings have been hurt so bad over the last couple of years. 90 dividend safety rating, a 20% dividend growth rate last year, 10% over the last 5 years, and 15% dividend growth over the last 20 years, with 51 straight years of dividend growth and a 66% payout ratio. But again, that's because their earnings have kind of taken a little dip here. All right, J&J, 165 a share. Looks reasonably valued. The dividend yield is 3% above its 5-year average, 2.74% dividend yield, 15.7 PE ratio, a 99 dividend safety rating, 6.6% growth in 2022, 6% over the last 5 years, 9% on average over the last 20 years, 60 straight years of dividend growth, 107 years of uninterrupted dividends being paid, and a 44% payout ratio. All right, coming in the grand stretch. 2 left. And remember, I'm going to go over the income produced by these companies, and I'm going to back test this portfolio to show you what the returns would have been over the last 20 years. Kimberly-Clark, KMB, about 136 a share. The dividend yield is 2% above its 5-year average, 3.46% dividend yield, PE ratio of 23, dividend safety rating of 88, 1.7% dividend growth, so a little bit slower there. In January, they just raised it. 5-year dividend growth rate of 4%, and then 20-year dividend growth rate of 7%. They have raised their dividend for 50 years straight, and they have paid an uninterrupted dividend for 88 straight years. 82% payout ratio, which is edging high. And then Leggett and Platt, $31 share price, basically. Dividend yield is 46% above its 5-year average. That's kind of crazy. A 5.73% dividend yield, 19.2 PE ratio, a dividend safety rating of 70, and 4.8% dividend growth, with a 4% dividend growth over the last 5 years, 6% over the last 20 years, 51 straight years of dividend growth, 56-year uninterrupted dividend streak, and then a 77% payout ratio. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to back test this portfolio. We're going to look back to 2003 all the way to 2023. So that's 20 years. We are going to start with a $10,000 investment. We're going to see how this portfolio of these 10 stocks have performed against the S&P 500 and a couple different investment strategies. The contribution is $500 a month. So it's like we're adding $500 every month for those 20 years. And that is inflation adjusted. So what that does is that increases the contribution at the rate of inflation over time, which is a good thing to do because generally pay would go up at the rate of inflation over time as well. The monthly contributions, like we talked about, we are not rebalancing any of these. We are reinvesting the dividends, and the benchmark that we're comparing it against is the Vanguard 500 Index Investor. Okay, and you can see here's the 10 stocks: Abbott, LEG, EMR, ITW, PH, J&J, LOW, KMB, AWR, and Target, TGT. Okay, and we're comparing this portfolio against this is a portfolio visualizer, against their lazy growth portfolio and their lazy income portfolio. And essentially, these are two portfolios that you could get just by using a mixture of these index funds and bonds that are either for growth or for focused on income, that somebody could kind of just set and forget. So I thought it'd be good to just compare it against that to say, hey, is it even worth it to invest in these individual stocks? Okay, we hit analyze, and let's see how they perform. So over 20 years, from 2003 to 2023, this is portfolio 1. Portfolio 2 is the growth, and portfolio 3 is the income. We can see that the initial investment of $10,000 in portfolio 1 of these 10 stocks is now worth $660,000. That's $397,000 when adjusted for inflation. That's a compound annual growth rate of 23%. Remember, that includes the contributions. And then it is a time-weighted return of 11.57%. That's the return that you get on your money. That's incredible. Remember, this does not mean that's what you'd get moving forward, but still a very good performance over time. The best year was up 36%. The worst year was down 22%. Okay, the growth portfolio using those index funds is worth 398,000, which is way below that 660. 19% CAGR. Okay, the income portfolio is 10,000 grew to 312,000. And then the Vanguard 500 index investor, if you just invested in that, is at 538,000, which is still below by almost $120,000, still below our portfolio one of these individual stocks, right? There's the chart over time. And what's really cool is if we look at the income, remember, we started with a $10,000 investment, and in 2003, our portfolio would only be yielding $268 versus the growth portfolio, the growth fund portfolio of 341, and the income portfolio of 478. But then if we fast forward to 2002, because of the dividend growth and reinvestment, portfolio one is now yielding $13,000. It's paying $13,839 in dividend income per year on that initial 10,000 investment plus 500 a month, inflation adjusted, versus the growth portfolio paying 6,787 and the income portfolio paying 5,408. All right, the last thing I want to do is talk about the dividend income and the dividend yield of if we had $10,000 invested in these stocks right now. So we just went from the last 20 years. Let's look at the next 20 years, what it could potentially look at in dividend income. And remember, past performance does not always guarantee future returns. It does not ever guarantee future returns. But if you had about 10,000 invested evenly in each of these, your annual income right now would be $265 because our dividend yield is only 2.69%. The dividend growth over the last 5 years has been 6.8%. And what I like to do is look at this pretty cool income forecast. So we've had dividend growth of 6.8% per year on average over the last 5 years. We are reinvesting dividends, so that gives us a 3% per year boost, which means we have a total annual dividend growth rate of 9.8%. And then we are contributing, again, that same $500 a month, $6,000 a year. This chart shows us what our dividend growth could look like in the future. So here's the yellow, that 9.8% growth per year. By 2033, so 10 years from today, we're growing from dividend income of $265 a year to $3,200 a year. And then add another 10 years, you're getting dividend income of $10,700 a year, $10,700 a year. Again, starting from $265 now, growing to $10,700 20 years from now. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot of money. You obviously can't live on that. But remember, that's starting a portfolio at just $10,000 today and contributing $6,000 a year. So if you had a larger portfolio today or you're contributing more, then that income could grow more over time. All right, I hope this was helpful. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps more people on YouTube find us. And it tells YouTube this is a good video and it should be shared with more people. You can also support me by checking out my email newsletter. There's a link down in the description where I go deeper on individual stocks and give detailed research reports out to subscribers. I just wrote a report on CNX Resources. It is a small cap natural gas stock that I'm very excited about for the future. So I went in depth about it in the email newsletter. Again, it's linked down in the description. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and let me know what other videos you want me to do. If there's any stocks you want me to review on the channel. Have a great day, great weekend, and just wish you good health and good friends, good times. Have fun out there.